Good morning and welcome to my hobby table once again. Today's video, like many of mine, the theme or the idea for the video comes from you. Commenters or friends that email me with specific questions and say, hey, how do you do this type of thing. So I realize that there's an ever-growing number of subscribers here, and many people have not seen some of my really early videos where I went through a lot of this stuff. So I'm going to put together today's video. It's kind of going to be a combination of how I disassemble an engine, the things you do in preparation to disassemble an engine, and then I'm really going to go into the cleaning of an engine. And the question has come up many times, do I still use LA's Totally Awesome Cleaner? And the answer to that question is yes, I do, in a limited way. And I'm hoping that this engine, the subject of this video, is going to cooperate with me and show me or have some carbon buildup someplace so that I can actually demonstrate how I currently use LA's Totally Awesome Cleaner. So today's subject of this video is an Enya 45 model 6001. So I want you to take a really good look at this engine. This is an engine that I got from a Facebook Marketplace deal. This was actually the one that was on that 1/6 scale SIG Cub featured in this image here. Now that Cub had been hanging from the ceiling of wherever that shop or bar or whatever it was for many years. I don't know exactly how many. I was told about maybe 20. And from that picture, I could actually tell that this was an Enya engine, because when I zoomed in on it, I could tell by the carb in the head that that was an Enya engine. And it had been on this engine, or that airplane, like this side facing the ceiling, this side facing down. So as you can see, there's a big difference between what this side looks like that was facing the ceiling having dust collect on it, and this side. So what I'm hoping to do is I went through with a toothbrush and just kind of was brushing this. No liquid or anything on it at all. Just brushing it because I thought maybe this was just a layer of dust. Well, it's not. And I'm hoping that this will come off. So I've got a vat of fresh warm water in my ultrasonic cleaner, and I've gone through the effort of setting up a light and a camera over there so that we can actually watch my current cleaning process in action. So I'm looking at this engine, and this is really the first time I've messed with it. This was really stuck, and it was stuck in a way that it was blocking my access to that screw, so I just broke it free. The carb is not free, the carb barrel is not free, it's just this loose, this screw I kind of broke free so I could access this screw. So I'm just kind of looking at it, and these are cross point screws, which always sucks because I don't like those. These are slotted. The head screws are cross point also. So I also went through this because there was some dust on them. I just brushed this with an old toothbrush. No liquid or anything. I haven't done anything like that. So what I'm going to do here is I was looking at these heads, and it looks like some of these cross point screws are kind of tired already, I'll say. And that's a concern. So I found the best fitting bit that I've got here. And what I'm going to do first is, you know, I don't know if this really helps because I don't know if the oil can really get down in there. I do it just as a matter of course. I put a little bit of oil on there, and when I heat it up, I hope that maybe some of it kind of can drizzle down around there, but I don't know that it really can. But it's one of those things I just kind of do anyway, just because. So I always use these methods when I'm employing disassembling an engine. Heat, oil, and mechanical shock if you think you've got some stuck fasteners. So I'm going to move my vise over here, and I've got a little piece of metal here to kind of act as a brace because I want to tighten this thing up in place for the most part, and then see if there's a need for me to put another brace under here just for good measure. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run a little bit of heat over this head because I want to remove the head screws first. And I've got this at a pretty high heat. I've got it at my max setting. So I'm also hoping that blowing this heat on there will help get that oil to penetrate. Whether it does or not, I don't know. So I'm going to use oil, heat, and then I'm going to mechanically shock these. And I didn't think to grab a... Yeah, I didn't think to grab my glove, so hopefully I don't really need that. So this is nice and warm. So now I'm going to do a little mechanical shock on each of these heads. And the theory here is that the mechanical shock also helps in getting those things to loosen up. So now I'm going to see if that helped. So also what I did was, that screw's coming loose. What I also did was I tightened it first and then started to loosen it. So I'm in the head, tighten, and then loosen. So that screw's coming out. Let's move some of this stuff out of my way now. This was a head that looked kind of not so happy to me. So I'll go over this again. Heat, oil, mechanical shock, and then obviously it goes along without saying having properly fitting tools, whether they be hex keys or you know, cross point screws like these. I think these are all loose enough now so that I can just kind of screw them out here real quick. Maybe I'll just quickly advance the video so you don't have to watch me sit here and do this. But anyway, so those are the methods. And it looks like it worked really well because I'm not having an issue with any of these heads. And believe me, they look like they really could have been pretty solidly in there. So let's see if I can, yeah, okay. So there's our head. Try to see, I'm looking specifically for carbon buildup that I can use to demonstrate the LA is totally awesome. So now I'm going to see, I didn't do any kind of mechanical shock or anything with these slotted screws for the carbs. Let's just see if I'm lucky enough to get them to come free without any manipulation. So that one's out. I have to take this carb off so I can at least access these other screws, front housing screws. So just for heck of it, I'm going to attempt to remove these front housing screws without any heat, oil, or mechanical shock, just to see what happens. Wow, this is shocking because those are actually just coming right out. And see, that's the thing, is you never know what you're gonna get when you get a used engine. You never know. It could look perfect and then you have super stuck fasteners, or it could look pretty rough like this and the fasteners can come out relatively easy. So you never know, but you want to be prepared. I just took that out. It looks like they're about the same length. Oh, those are actually longer. Okay, so front housing screws are longer. So you just never know what to expect, so you want to be prepared and have these techniques available for you in your head in case you run into a problem. Okay, let's see how this front housing is going to come off. Just kind of wiggling it forward and aft, up and down. There we go. So we can see some swirling inside there. This actually doesn't look too bad. So I have no idea how old this engine is. I mean, I have none. Or how much runtime it's got on it. Let's see if we can just slide this piston out here. Maybe the piston will give us a opportunity to use some LA's Totally Awesome cleaner. Okay, so this looks like about the only part that's going to be able to give me any real ability to demonstrate how I currently use LAs. I'm going to see, just for the heck of it, if I'm lucky enough to get this gasket off in one piece. Not like I want to reuse it, but my gasket supplier, Kirk from eBay, he's got several listings for Enya 45 engines. Yeah, I just cut this gasket, damn it. And I'm not sure the exact designation. The ones that he's got designated don't seem exactly right. So what I may do is just take a picture of this with a steel rule next to it, or make a photocopy of it and send it to him and say, hey, which one of your gaskets meets these dimensions? And so I can order the right gaskets, because I don't see, he's got several Enya 45, but I just don't know if maybe they are for the 6001. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, so anyway, I think what I want to do now is take this off. I'm going to, so this is held on by just, it doesn't have a tapered collet like Sato engines do. It's just a slip-on thing, but it's on there good, it's stuck. So, and there's no Woodruff key. So I'm just going to hit that with a little bit of oil. Put a little oil in there, and maybe oil here pretty heftily, and heat this thing up and get this crankshaft and bearing assembly out. And then we'll go in over to the ultrasonic cleaner. I'll show you the Zepp powder cleaner that I've been using from Mike, who also, by the way, is the one that just so happened to have done the helicoil in my Sato 72 head. Oh, I want to heat that up. I think maybe I can heat it up just like this. I don't have my glove over here. I'd have to run over there and grab it. Which I could go do. I really just want to get this crankshaft out and see if there's anything on there that might be interesting to. I'm just going to use this. And of course, that's going to go right through there. It's got a hole in it. Oh, damn it! Let me get my Delrin block here. See, there's that. Okay, there. That'll be a good subject. So that's really on there. That's really dried fuel residue. So I can also use that to demonstrate how I still use LAs. Okay, so our bearing came off on there, so that's good. And maybe I'll use my LAs cleaner first on the inside of this, the piston head and those things, and we'll just move all this other stuff out of the way. And then I'll go drop all of this into the cleaner, and we'll see how it cleans that up. So let me go get my little container of LAs real quick and a couple fresh Q-tips, and I'll show you how and when I use LAs right now still. Okay, here I am. Got my little container of LA's Totally Awesome Cleaner, and it is straight. It's a little diluted because it's been sitting in here for a little bit. It is straight. I don't dilute it at all. I don't mean it's diluted. I mean I put dirty things in there, so it's not perfectly yellow anymore. But I just want to demonstrate how I still will use LA's Totally Awesome Cleaner. And that's not to say that I'm going to sit here and clean all of these perfectly. I just really want to demonstrate how useful this product is and how it can actually clean things relatively good. And the evidence of it cleaning is on the Q-tip. Now obviously some of this stuff may take longer than others because of the fact that it's dried on more or whatever. But so this aluminum piece I probably would not just leave laying in there because it will begin to react with the aluminum. Now I don't know that I've ever seen it react with a drive hub, but it can. So that one's pretty tough, but you can see how it works. Now I'm going to go to the piston head, carbon buildup on top of, I think this is probably, it's a ringed piston. Is it a ringed piston? Yeah, it's a ring piston. This piston's completely compressed. That piston ring is completely compressed. It's not completely compressed. It's in there pretty good, so we're going to try and work to free that up too. Fresh Q-tip head. Like I said, just kind of demonstrate what I do with LAs. And I have no idea how well this is going to work. Some engines that have the carbon hasn't sat on them as long as others will blacken up right away. But you can see this is making that pretty dark. This engine has obviously not been run in quite some time because this is really on there. Sometimes with a piston, now this could be an iron piston, a mehanite piston, or a type of iron. So that's cool. So I may not be too concerned about just putting this in the LAs, but even other pistons, aluminum pistons, because they're not just pure aluminum, they've got some kind of other alloy on them. They probably will not discolor, and even if they did, what harm is a discolored piston going to do? I've never seen a piston discolor. So this demonstration is, this is how I use it. I'm not saying that this is the perfect example of how this is getting clean, because it's certainly not. Because this engine's probably been sitting for many years. You can see that, you know, if I were to sit here and soak this, look at that. I mean, this Q-tip is getting really cleaned off, or getting really dirty because it's cleaning up all that stuff. So a lot of times what I would do is just kind of, on something like this, it's an internal part, just leave it wet like this and just let it sit. But anyway, so this is how I have used LAs. So I don't use LAs in my ultrasonic cleaner anymore. I no longer do that. I've had, for many years, I had success with it, and then all of a sudden it just seemed like things stopped working. So I think you get the idea of how maybe not as an awesome example of cleaning, but how I use LA's Totally Awesome Cleaner now. So I basically will always just use a Q-tip or a toothbrush and scrub it on there, or just clean off certain areas, spot cleaning basically. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take these parts, take a close look at them, take these parts and go put them in the ultrasonic cleaner. And I've already got the cleaner heated up, but I'll show how much of the ZEP, and I can't remember the formula number name, I'll put a picture up or something, how much of the ZEP cleaner I typically put in my ultrasonic cleaner, and we'll sit there and watch these parts get cleaned. Okay, so here's my cleaner with fresh clean water. It's warm. I kind of pissed because I don't know where my non-contact thermometer is. I couldn't find it at this time, so I can't prove that that's warm, but that water has been sitting, and it's probably about, it's over 100 degrees. So I would say it's probably about 110 at least. And that's about all the heat that I clean at. Now this is my container of this ZEP cleaner. This is just a container that Mike sent me full of this powder. So I have just an old tablespoon, a bigger spoon, and I put maybe what would be considered a level spoon in there, and I just kind of sprinkle it in there like that, and then make sure I put the lid on this stuff and don't spill it. So I've put these parts for this Inya in my basket. And I'm just gonna, I think I'll put the arms out here, if that'll allow. It's not gonna allow full immersion, I don't think. So now they're fully immersed, and now I'm just gonna turn my vibration on for 5 minutes. And we'll watch and see what these parts look like after 5 minutes. Let's put it to 8 minutes. 6, 7, 8 minutes. Now I'm not going to sit here and film all of this for 8 minutes. It started, it's at 8 minutes now. I'll come and turn this back on in a couple of minutes, maybe right when it's about to shut off. And then we'll dry off the parts, take them to the table and see what they look like after 8 minutes in this. Okay, so we're approaching the final minute of cleaning here, and I've got a bottle of 91% isopropyl alcohol in just a small container that I'm going to kind of shake the parts off, drip dry them here real quick, and then throw them in the alcohol. Rinse them real quick with the alcohol, and then I'll dry them off and take them back to the table and we can inspect them for cleanliness. I think this thing is probably within 30 seconds of shutting off. Here's our front housing and that front bearing. Forgot I left that bearing in there, but that's okay. Don't look like the piston got much cleaner. Alright, there, it's shut off. So now I'm just going to rinse these things real quick and we'll take them over to the table for an inspection. Alright, so here I kind of dried these off a little bit here. So let's just take a quick look at them first. So here's the one side of this Enya. That's the side that was facing up. It looks pretty good here. Down here, maybe not quite as good as it did, but here, let's do. That side was the downside. This was the upside. It came out pretty decent. Now, I could probably let this sit in there for longer. And, you know, this was just a quick 8-minute test. To see what happens. I've got a little brass brush here. I just want to kind of swirl in here a little bit and see if that looks like that would do anything in here at all. Or here. I don't really want to be marking the case up, but yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things where sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. Sometimes engines come out looking really beautiful, and sometimes they don't, like this head. Now a lot of this is just carbon that's probably loosened up. This can probably go sit in there for a little bit longer, and I'll probably go throw that on there. Like I said, this was just a quick little 8-minute foray through the ultrasonic cleaner. That can go in for longer. Yeah, I think the head will clean up a little bit better. It's not going to get any more shiny. I mean, it doesn't make shininess there, but there's stuff here. So we'll put that back in for sure. Piston can definitely go back in there because that's just not, and it doesn't have to be perfectly clean. I was hoping that the LAs would help make it look a little more clean than that. Let's see if after having sat in that cleaner, if this LAs does anything more to this at all. You can see it's still darkening the tip of the Q-tip, but not to the extent that I was hoping. So I'm still in the process of working on a Sato 72 engine that was run with some really seemed like different fuel, and it had some really black carbon buildup on it. And must not have sat on there for long, because doing this just cleaned that piston up immediately. I mean, it was just unbelievable how it cleaned up. This has clearly just been really on there for some time. I don't think that's ever really going to get much cleaner. Let's just do something here. This will probably go in there a little bit more. This can probably be maybe bristle brushed a little bit with some LAs on it. But I mean, it's just, I don't know. It was a buddy of mine, Rick, that is asking me about, he's having some mixed results with these cleaning techniques, and he's like, how do you get your engines to look so good? And it's like, well, you know, it's kind of one of those things where sometimes they come out looking really good and sometimes they don't. It isn't always just what I've done or these cleaning products. Sometimes it's just how long has it been sitting like that. Sometimes, I mean, these will come out really clean almost 100% of the time. This aluminum that they make these drive hubs out of just really comes clean quickly. But some of these other parts just really don't clean up all that well all the time. Now, if that friend of mine, Jay, is watching, he'll probably offer to vapor hone this engine and make it look perfect again. But I don't really have an exhaust for this other than that silly Tatone pit style exhaust that was on it, and those things are crap. So I'm not really sure what the end result or what the destiny of this engine is going to be. But anyway, so that's been our a video on my cleaning methods now, and do I still use LA's Totally Awesome Cleaner? And of course that answer is yes, in a very limited and controlled fashion, not in an ultrasonic cleaner. But that ZEP cleaner, it does a wonderful job, and I really like it a lot. So that's our video for today.